With the big game with Arsenal coming up against Manchester City, their season might be derailed. I mean, they didn't get off to the greatest of starts. They still look, as pretty much as good as we think they are. But in this past rough Champions League outing where they lost to Lens, they lost Saka early in the 30 something minute. Arteta says he doesn't know. They still got to do tests, but his quote was pretty much it was bad enough that he couldn't continue the rest of the game. So in that respect, it doesn't look good. I don't like that. That sounds pretty bad. Assuming we even lose him for a few weeks.
The way you just said that, it was just like, yeah, I don't like that. That sounds pretty bad.
As an Arsenal fan,
discouraging thing. It's like,
I gotta take my after because it's some of these games that we've been winning. You think about Saka and sometimes he's been the difference maker there. And you just think about the next few weeks and a bunch of games that we have coming up. The thought in your mind is if he is, let's say Saka's out for a month with some muscle injury or something like that. How many games in a month do you think they either draw or lose that they could have won with Saka? That's what I'm worried about because he really is that X factor who always seems to be doing something for us. He's the one guy on our team that's like untouchable and that we do not want to sell to anybody no matter how much money you throw our way. This can be very bad. I mean, for an Arsenal team that's not exactly blowing teams out of the water easily. They're relying on a lot of close games and just chipping away at defensive blocks. So I think this could, if he's gone for a few weeks, I think this would ruin any hope that Arsenal fans have of a title chance. I don't think it would ruin Champions League. But that's my opinion on it. There's really not too much more I could say unless we know the details. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the schedule right now. You guys got a tough stretch here. I mean, you got City next, you got Chelsea, which I guess you shouldn't really be too scared of Chelsea. They're a shit show. But I mean, your next two Champions Leagues game are against your toughest competition in the group with Sevilla. You're playing Sevilla back-to-back in Champions League after just losing to Lens, RC Lens in France. That's sketchy, dude. Like, look, you guys are gonna get out of it, but
yeah, I think it helped. We're not in the same position as United because we did have a very good game against PSV.
You had a good game against PSV. That loss against Lens is that's a tough loss.
And you'd have to imagine that we'd beat Lens the next time around.
Yeah, and I think that without Saka, man, that's the thing with Sevilla is they're very defensively stout. From what I've seen from them this year and what I've seen from the Champions League, they should have beat PSV, but they allowed a last minute goal into the it was literally like in extra time. Like I think there was like a minute or two left, and they equalized, but they should have won the game. And they've been pretty good defensively. So, and you guys are saying like against like the low block, you said you guys been struggling.
Well, that's what I'm just saying is like that's kind of like an Arsenal thing. Is like if they're not going to blow out, if they're not going to win against the team 3-0 or 4-0, then they're playing good. If you're going to watch the game from start to finish, they are the dominant team. They're getting more chances, but just sometimes feels like the final product isn't there. It's not as clinical, or like, they're just it's just so crowded in front that it's really taking some perfect play to get through. So it's not necessarily that it's like that we struggle. It's more how the league is and how we are. We're not a city where we're just so good that it doesn't really matter how you defend. Like any shot can go in top corner. We're not really like that. And that's the difference. When you have a Manchester City going against some trash team like a Luton or someone like that, they're probably going to score within 10 minutes. Whereas Arsenal, they may win by 2 goals, but you don't see them getting that goal within like the first few minutes like you would with City playing some trash team.
I do want to get your opinion on it. So, from what I've seen, I'm sure you watched more Arsenal than me, but I watched a decent amount. I feel like with Arsenal, from what I've seen, that they haven't been very clinical in front of net, and I don't know if you share that same sentiment,
Yeah.
but like I feel like I hear
Like I
so
said,
many times
that's been the
Nketiah
thing. Like
having
I
like
said, we've been
and it
we've
create
been
like I keep on hearing like Nketiah with the shot, and like I've heard him like go for the like. It seems like he's creating space and he's doing a good job getting in position, but it's like the lack of finishing and the clinicalness of like actually putting it away has been hurting Arsenal. From what I've
yeah.
like
Like I said,
from what I'm from every time I seem to watch them, that seems to be the issue. I'm just
it's
curious, like
not
as you who's
alarming.
watched every game.
It's not like you feel like they can't buy a goal if their life depended on it.
No,
It's just
yeah,
that some of these games, if we were
they
more
should be
clinical,
blowing
some of these
out teams
games, exactly, they're just not blowing out teams. Even if
like
they
Tottenham.
are hands down the better team, they will still like it's still like, okay, we got a goal. Okay, can we get a second goal? Oh, we got a second goal. Wow, that's great. And like even one of the games where we won like 4-0, two of them were penalties. Correct penalties. I'm not gonna say like they weren't. They were pretty obvious and easy. Not even it's rare you get some of those, but they were pretty blatant. Still, like,
It
that's two
just seems like
penalties.
Arsenal has a lot of quality to beat mid-table, lower-table teams. It's just how's it how are they going to shape up in this European competition and then also the top of the Premier League.
And
And yeah, I mean
Arsenal,
losing Saka is huge. I mean,
yeah.
and I don't know without Saka, I don't know how you win that game,
I
man.
will
I
I
mean, there's
will leave it
just
like
so much
this.
and
Oh, well,
City's
yeah.
on a
Against City, nah, fuck that.
roll.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
mean, they're not
aside from
even
their little hiccup when they had a little hiccup, but the hiccup for them is just a hiccup.
oh,
But
too, yeah. I mean,
I will say this about Arsenal. Um, it's they tend to play to the opponent. So
yes, I totally see that.
if they're playing a City or a Liverpool, then they look like they belong. You know what I mean? Like they're putting in effort. They're really, putting together some great chances. They're defending really strongly and they're not making many errors. And then they'll play like some bottom half team and it's not as clinical. And it's kind of like, well, they're not they're letting the team dictate it. Not so much. I'm not saying like, you play against a team like Brighton or something, like not Brighton. Brighton's a bad example now. They're good. Like
Fulham.
Luton or Fulham or something like that.
Yeah, I
Even
mean, you
Fulham's
guys
pretty
drew
good.
against well, Fulham's in 13th, right? They're two,
Well,
two,
yeah,
and
they're
three,
pretty
and
good. But you
they
get
got
the
a draw
point. Like
against you guys.
you get the point. Is like it's not exactly like you don't feel like I said. Arsenal, when you're watching those games, you know that they are the better team. It's obvious. The possession, the passing, the chances. It's obvious, but it doesn't always translate in results. And that hurts
Yeah,
them
it's kind.
sometimes because if they make a mistake and you're only up by a goal, what are you going to do?
It's like you're
You got to
not
deal with it.
dominating like you should, and it feels like one of the few games where you really felt like, yeah, we're the fucking better team. Was that PSV game? It was like, yeah, like without a doubt, like we're dominating this game. But then you look at like I said today or yesterday, my
Or
bad,
yesterday,
and
yeah.
just couldn't put it away, and
Yeah.
they won. So look,
And
I
like I
thought this
said,
group was going to be a
Arsenal are the
walk in
better
the
team,
park, but after losing that game, look, I think you guys are still going to advance regardless. Because yeah, I think you're gonna beat everybody at one. But
yeah, it
like,
makes it tough.
man, but I mean, if Sevilla can get two draws on you, that's scary.
Tough.
Like
Yeah, it is. It
that's
is.
scary, which is completely realistic. Like obviously,
Yeah,
Arsenal's the better team than
absolutely.
Sevilla, but Sevilla has shown that they've been pretty damn like good defensively. And if they can eke out 1-1 wins, I mean, look, if Lens can do it, like why couldn't like Sevilla, who I think is a better team than them, is probably going to advance. Like that's scary. Like that's really scary
Yeah,
because
definitely.
it the good advantage is I think who do you play at Sevilla next? I was going to say at least the advantage is you're going to have more home games at the end of the group. which is going to be very helpful. Yeah, so you guys are playing at Sevilla next too. Did you guys?
Yeah.
You guys played at Arsenal for PSV, right?
Yeah, PSV was home, Lens was away.
Okay, and then you're getting this one away. All right, so then you're going to end the group with 2 homes. So that's good. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's not that big of a deal, I think, like I said. But I don't know if the whole league race, that's just going to work. It just seems like City's just got in the bag. They just have, even if someone gets hurt. I mean, bro, De Bruyne hasn't even back yet, and they just have so much fucking depth
Yeah, it's crazy.
that it's just insane.
Crazy.
It's so they're missing, I think, their best player, and they're still unstoppable.
It's one of the best midfielder in Europe. I've said this for the past 2-3 years. I said he's the best midfielder in Europe. I'm sorry, he just is.
I think he's the best player right now. Like, genuinely. Like, I mean, I don't know. People are gonna say Mbappe. I think people are also gonna say Haaland, but like Haaland's nothing without De Bruyne.
Yeah, he's scoring so much because he came into it. He was scoring a lot with Dortmund, and now he's just scoring a lot because he's with City. You know, it's just like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I love.
So yeah, it'll be
he's
interesting.
A really cool guy, but I mean, let's call a spade a spade. The dude's kind of a tapping merchant. I mean, let's be real. I mean, the dude's getting unreal service from everywhere. You just needed a guy to finish it, and he's so fucking huge. He just bodies off everybody and just dominates. But yeah, I don't see anybody.
So we'll see what happens.
City.
That's
Champions
pretty much
League
what I gotta say. I think we're gonna lose to City without Saka. Even with Saka, it'd be tough. But if there's no Saka,
do you think the league's
party.
pretty much done? I think
I mean, like in theory, yes. I think it's a little too early to say that. Especially with City having their hiccup. It's just a matter of how many hiccups they're gonna have because they are the better team. So we'll see what happens. I think it's too early to say.